Okay, is everybody here? Good, ready? If I can start. Okay. Okay. I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting this evening. We'll call this meeting to order. With us tonight to lead our Pledge of Allegiance, we have special guests. We have Cub Scout Arrow of Light, Den Pack 612. Do you all want to introduce yourselves before you lead our pledge?
Yes, I'm Jim. So the leader.
Thank you all for being here with us tonight. We'll hand it over to you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for being with us tonight. Okay, the council has their agendas before them. Is there a motion that we approve?
I'll say.
All those in favor of the agenda, say aye. Are there any announcements this evening?
Oh, no.
And there is no public comment? Okay, so we have a closed session scheduled tonight to meet with our attorney and just to meet with her schedule and to not have the town wasting money while she waits. We're going to move that to right now. So we're going to leave the room and go to the other room and we'll be back shortly.
Make a motion, please.
Motion to enter into closed session to consult with our attorney.
I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
You're all welcome to wait. Shouldn't be really long. Or take off.
That is a good idea. This is recorded, so if you say hi to mom, she'll be able to look at it every time she wants to. She'll be able to go on Facebook and say, hey, that's my kid saying, hi, mom, I love you. That's nice.
Okay, gang's all here. Motion to re-enter open session.
I'll make a motion. We re-enter open session. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, next we have the consent agenda. Is there a motion that we approve?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, item A on the regular agenda is our public hearing for text amendment TXT 21-03 Certificate of Understanding. So I will make a motion that we enter into public hearing.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, who's presenting? Daniel?
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This item is on your agenda this evening is a follow-up to conversations beginning in June. I'm going to turn it over to Mike Malachek, our zoning administrator, to give you the rundown.
So in June, town council directed staff to draft a text amendment to remove a certificate of understanding requirement for all final subdivision plats. That's what's before you tonight. This was added to the code in April of 2011, which is attachment A in your packet. And basically the purpose is to protect property owners from unauthorized subdivisions of land and protect the town from evasion of subdivision requirements. So if someone did a minor subdivision of certain number of lots and then subdivided more property that required an upgrading of road infrastructure, that acknowledgement is recorded on the plat with the Henderson County Register of Deeds. So the proposed text amendment is attachment B in your packet with the red line text, removing the two sections. There's one section, 153.045B, which has the actual certificate language. And then at the end, under required certificates for all final plats, it's line 1898. It just lists the certificate of understanding. The planning board considered this at their meeting on August 17th and recommended denial due to inconsistencies with the comprehensive plan. And so town council's options are approve as shown, approve with modifications, table for additional consideration, or deny. A statement of consistency, a draft statement of consistency for council is also included in your packet. And that can be adopted as a separate motion after approval or denial. Happy to take questions.
So Michael, so now the plat has to be signed by the owner, the face of the plat, right?
Correct.
Can we not just move that to an electronic signature or a letter to sign?
Like a separate document?
Yes.
If you want to change the text to do that, that's possible, yeah.
I'm just worried about people that might live out of state. They have to mail the plat, get it signed, mail it back for something that they've already paid for.
I understand.
I'm okay if we can just change it to electronic signature or a letter.
But as a separate document, not on the face of the plat.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
Okay.
an
that's
attachment.
fine.
Thank you.
I'll just raise the benefit of being on the face of the plat is, again, it's recorded in perpetuity with Henderson
Yeah.
County, whereas here it's just in a file.
Okay.
So does that also include, let's say that somebody is in Florida, they've got a developer up here. So the developer sends them a piece of paper, they sign it, get it notarized, and that becomes part of the file instead of actually signing the plat.
You can change the language to whatever you like, so that's possible. Yeah.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Sometimes getting a notary is more of a pain though than just the signature.
I mean, I'll just say too, 75% or more of the plats I sign are all electronic. Now, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just throwing that out there too.
Wait, I have a question. And this is a clarification. Was Roger saying that they could either sign the plat or have a separate document to sign saying that they understand this?
Is that having been gone through this, not with Mills River, but Daddy had some property in Florida. And so this same requirement was down there. And so I said, okay, where the ordinances allow me to have somebody draft a letter saying, yes, I approve of this, or something. Sign it and have a notary down in Florida put their stamp on it, and then that becomes part of that record back into Haywood County. So is that, Randy, you want to explain what brought all this up?
I just had a surveyor get a hold of me about having problems mailing. It's just time consuming. It's a time thing, and time's always money. So I'm okay if we want to change it to remove it from the face of the plat to a letter that accompanies the plat. If that's acceptable.
Sure. So what I'll do is I'll basically still strike line 1898, which again states that it's a required certificate to appear on the final plat. And the ordinance kind of conflicts because one part says it can also be submitted as a separate document, but required certificate states it must be on the final plat. So I'll still strike that. And then I'll modify the language under 153.045B, excuse me, to allow it as a separate document. And I'll just spell that out. But would you still like it to say that it's required?
Yes, I think we'll be okay with the requirement.
Yeah, I think that's what was getting me confused is because it's already can be a separate document. So that's what was confusing me is, yeah, so I was like, we can already do a separate document. Yes. Okay.
We're just moving it from the plat to possibly a separate document.
Attachment.
Is that? Okay.
So that's kind of what we're asking. Was there any public comment on this text amendment?
I received none.
Just for the, go through the motions here. Okay. All right, I'm gonna make a motion to close public hearing.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so what is your motion, Randy?
So Michael, if I'm just trying to understand how I need to make this motion. So if I make a motion to remove the requirement for the signature on the face of the plat and have it a separate document along with the plat, would that be sufficient?
Yeah, if you want to be specific, you could say that you make a motion to approve the text amendment with the modification that you're striking line 1898 and leaving the rest of the language, because the rest of the language has that other option.
Okay.
It's only line 1898 that specifies it has to be on the plat.
Okay. Sue, did you get that? I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion, whatever it was.
Maybe, hang on.
So
So approving the text amendment.
So you're actually approving,
Text amendment, striking line 1898.
and again, it's a modification of what's presented. So striking line 1898 and leaving lines 362 through 380.
okay. I think I've got enough that I may ask Mike to help me word it, because if we're using, in a motion, we're using the lines like that, then you've got to attach the document. So maybe we'll put more words.
Okay, Randy made the motion and Roger seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, next we have public hearing.
Sorry,
Well,
just
oh,
the
you gotta do
statement of
that thing.
consistency. And again, it doesn't need to be modified. You're just acknowledging it's inconsistent with the comprehensive plan.
You have to make a motion.
Could I have more words?
We we acknowledge that it's inconsistent with the statement of consistency, right?
So you're a motion to acknowledge
So it'd be
it
a-
is inconsistent with the statement of consistency.
So the statement of consistency states that it's inconsistent. Sorry for the. Basically, it would be you're approving the draft statement of consistency for TXT 2103.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. That part gets confusing.
Thank
Okay.
you, Michael.
So now public hearing for text amendment TXT 21-08, the planning board size. I will make a motion to enter into public hearing.
I will second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, this is our planning board.
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is a text amendment to formalize what we've been discussing for the last couple of months, and that is modifying the size of the planning board from 9 members to 7. Just quickly on the attachment A, the modified text, there's a couple of changes from 160A to 160D because those changed earlier this year. And then there is a change on line 43. It said 3 consecutive board meetings. The new rules of procedure that were adopted last month stated 2. So that change has been incorporated. And then we added that sentence about specific charter and rules of procedure under, starting on line 49. And the rest of it is proposed for removal. And this basically formalizes the discussions we've already had, setting the planning board at 8 members, or excuse me, 7 members.
questions for Daniel? Yeah, I think we've been through this and this was our idea, so. Is there any public comment on our changing the number of planning board members? No. Discussion. Close public hearing.
I make a motion that we close public hearing.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
I'll make a motion, we adopt the text amendment TXT 2108.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. All right, there is an attached statement of consistency.
I make a motion that we adopt the statement of consistency in attachment B.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Moving on. Item C is to set the public hearing for text amendment TXT 21-07, request for text amendment.
My apologies, but can I catch up?
Okay, sorry. Let us know when you're ready. Trying to move through here, Sue. All right, so
I'm good.
I'll make a motion to set the public hearing date to November 18th for text amendment TXT 21-07. Request for text amendment.
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay,
Shay,
yes.
is that on this 2107? And maybe this is a question for Daniel or Michael. Is that, it says citizen initiated zoning text amendment. So if I hire an attorney to draw up a text amendment, is that also included in this?
I would think it would be, the attorney would basically be the owner's agent, so it would still be considered owner initiated.
Can we tighten that down a little bit? To, is that maybe say we're authorized agent or something like that?
Anyone associated with a Mills River property owner,
Yes.
you want included in the process.
Yes.
I'll make sure that's in the text.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, now to our quarterly financial dashboard.
Okay, y'all are really moving today. All right. Your end of your first quarter, your revenues are strong. That's a word I've been using a lot the last year or two, but your revenues are strong. Your sales tax is already at 35% of your budget when you're 25% of the year. So that's good. Permits and fees are up due to lots of increased activity, as I'm sure Mike would attest to. And they're already at 43% of their budget. Picnic shelter and park rentals are also, well, they're actually already over budget by 141%. I think that's because of COVID. A lot of people are preferring to have outside gatherings, but also your baseball field rentals, your soccer. I'm not sure if she charges for soccer practice. She doesn't. Okay. So there's just more. It's basically generating more income. That will be a hard one to budget next year. If COVID really were to end, will it still garner as much? We don't know. Expenditures overall are only at 17% of your budget. Some of that is because we have paid very few invoices associated with your capital projects yet. So that's not a huge part of your expenditure budget. Also indicative of staff's fiscal diligence. Thank you, Arlie, for the phrase. Tax collection is already near half of their budget, but that's because they do a first mailing of tax notices. A large portion of that goes, usually it's the first usually it's most of their budget, but this year we have moved expenditures for the second mailing into that line item as well. On at the top graph, your fund balance commitments. This is mainly, at this point, your reserves for, I've lost my place, law enforcement, building maintenance, and cash flow, as well as capital reserves for town hall renovations or replacement, and park maintenance or construction. The first tranche of the American Rescue Plan funds are here on advice of our attorney. Until we make decisions on what to do with it, it is sitting in your general fund. So that is listed on this graph as a fund balance commitment because it's unspendable. Right now it skews your numbers. And if we don't make a decision by June 30, we will have to make a decision to move it somewhere. Probably into a grant project ordinance or grant project fund. That's pretty much it. Questions? I won't even go over the investments because interest is
Dismal.
just ridiculous.
Well, excellent job as always. We thank you all for being so clear and diligent and. All right, item E on the agenda is the Bicycle Pedestrian Plan Steering Committee.
Okay, last year, the town applied for a bicycle and pedestrian planning grant from the North Carolina Department of Transportation. The town was awarded that funding earlier this year, and then over the next couple of months, the early parts of 2021, we got the paperwork signed, municipal agreement executed, and all those required steps. We began meeting with the consultant in May of this year. In order to get the project really going and off the ground, we need to set up a steering committee. And the state has a list of recommended, AKA required members of that steering committee, which I've included in your packet as attachment B, so you can just see who, in general, they've asked that we include. And so the list of people that we've included is attachment C. And I will point out, just as a reminder, that we have Councilman Austin on here, and Madam Mayor, as your even though you are leaving us in your prestigious role as mayor of Mills River, we would like you to be involved if you're so inclined as an agricultural community member. And that is all the questions I have, or excuse me, all the information I have, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
So this is a required committee that we.
Yes, yes, we have to have the committee set up as according to the state and the standards associated with the bike grant.
So this started out at $60,000. The
50,000.
town's matching,
It was 50,000.
okay.
The 60,000 was for the Mills River Valley Trail.
And so now what is it up to?
The town has to match 10% of that, or $5,000. The Blue Ridge Bicycle Club committed to paying half of that, which they have done. So the town's investment, cash investment in this is $2,500.
So so at the end of the day, per our discussions, we have no clue how much this trail is going to cost.
These are different things. This is for the planning project. The Mills River Valley Trail is undergoing assessment like all the other state projects in the state, and that cost is likely what has gone up. We don't know the extent yet.
So getting to my point is that if we appoint this committee, are we raising our hand and saying we are committed to doing this?
No.
Okay. So how long will this committee meet? Will this committee, since it's a committee, I assume, of the town council,
Mhm.
then it has to abide by our rules.
That's right.
Will they make regular reports back to us whenever they need to?
Mhm.
So is that, I guess my thinking is this, is that you appoint this committee, and like everything else, the price is going to go up.
Mhm.
Is that, I understand that. So this committee will meet how long?
We have 4 meetings that are scheduled, well, will be scheduled for them. And then 1 general public meeting in the spring, late winter, early spring. So
So,
the plan is to have the project wrapped up by the end of the fiscal year.
oh, somewhere I heard 18 months.
Mhm. Yeah, that's the original deadline that the state provides. They want to have the project completed in 18 months. So that's what they say on paper, although they typically prefer to see it done in 12 months. And so the clock started, if you will, when we signed that municipal agreement last spring. So we have until the end of next summer, basically, but the schedule that the state has reviewed and approved has us wrapping this thing up next spring, before the end of the fiscal year.
Okay, so my next question is this. If we go through this process and this trail is going to cost $20 million, give or take. He said, let's just use a easy number. So the town will be on the hook for a portion of that. Is that fair?
The town would be on the hook for 20% of that project cost, whatever it may be. We don't know that yet.
So my next question is that if, just using the $20 million, is that if this council decides not to do it, will we have to pay back every nickel that the state has spent?
I'll confirm that answer for you. But again, the planning grant is different than the trail project itself, the construction project. This is to develop a plan centered around bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure. It's not committing us to building anything.
Okay, is that, do you see what I'm trying to
I
get
do.
clear
Right,
here?
yep, I sure do. Yeah, the agreement's already been signed, so the cost of this project has already been developed, and that's what was approved when the state approved the grant.
I think for
Daniel,
the,
This is, I'm sorry, Brian.
oh, okay.
This is just this is a bicycle pedestrian plan for the town of Mills River.
That's right.
It's the master plan.
Master plan, just like the parks. plan,
Exactly.
Just like, so that's what it is.
That's
That's
right. That's exactly what I was going to point out, that this is very much like the Parks Plan in that a consultant has been hired. The state has agreed to pay them $50,000. Our portion of that is $5,000. The Blue Ridge Bicycle Club is going to pay half of that. So for $2,500, we're getting $50,000 worth of a plan for bike ped facilities in town. So in a year, when the consultant and the steering committee comes back and they report to us, we'll have something that we can kind of sink our teeth into. So that's really where we're going with this. And that's the reason for this steering committee. I just wanted to, while I have the floor, point out that I think this list is really well thought out. And I agree with the policeman, every single person that's here. I know every person on the list and I know them well. And I think they'll all do a great job.
So just a long range question.
Mhm.
So let's say that we go through the process, everything's good, so
Mhm.
forth. So this is built. Who is going to maintain this?
Again, they're 2 separate projects. There's a Mills River Valley Trail, which is in the plan by the state to be built at some point. We haven't even started the design on that yet. So the decisions is yet to be made whether or not we're going to go through with that project. Initially, the cost estimate was $300,000 for the design and engineering for that trail. That has since gone up, as has the rest of the state's project, unfortunately. And so we don't have a final number yet. We need to come back to this board and see if you're willing to support that increased number. It has increased rather dramatically, unfortunately. But once we have a firm number, we can bring that back to you, independent of the planning project. That's the bike trail project. We will bring that back to you at a later date, probably the first part of January. The state's estimates and budget changes are due by the end of the year by all their consultants.
I just didn't want to get too far,
Mhm.
you know, in the process. Then say, sorry, guys, we can't afford this.
Right.
And then all of a sudden DOT says, okay, if you're going back out now, then you're going to have to pay us $250,000.
Right.
That's the part that scares me.
Sure. And I'll confirm that with them as to how that would work if for some reason the town was not able to go through with it once we've initiated the design process.
I would like to add one more name to the committee. If that's acceptable to the council, is that his name is Adam Walker. Is that he is, for lack of better terms, the Forest Service guy for Sierra Nevada. And since this trail may be crossing Sierra Nevada's property, I think that it would be wise to have someone on that.
Somebody from Sierra Nevada on there.
Well, I'd still like to add Adam Walker on there. It says Chamber of Major Employer. What does that mean?
It's supposed to say chamber or major employer. I think I just misspelled it when I was typing at the table. So Chamber of Commerce or a major employer in the area.
The categories that the state puts out that we have to represent. Sierra Nevada represents a major employer in Mills River.
Well, in that case, is that, I don't know this Donna person, she may be a good person. But I'd like to, Adam has expressed a desire to serve. Is that he's also a bicycle guy. So can we substitute the Donna for Adam Walker? Also, is that I'll make a motion to approve the committee members with that one change.
Is there a second?
Can I ask a question?
Mhm.
It's good. Has this Donna lady from Sierra Nevada, she already been contacted? about-
Everyone on the list has.
I mean, can you just add another one instead of?
I don't see why not.
Instead of removing her, can we do that?
Yeah, I think that's perfectly acceptable if that's what the board would like to do.
Let me change my motion.
I'll second if you will.
Is that I'll change my motion to leave Donna on there and add Adam.
I'll second.
Right. A motion and a second to accept the steering committee nominations with the addition of Adam Walker. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. No opposed.
Thank you.
Okay, staff updates. Sue, you're first when you're ready.
I don't have a lot other than to tell you that Patty is getting into her 4th week of certification school next week. She won't be 100% certified after that, but very close. And she's making very good progress. And I'm very pleased. She's taking over things like wrote the whole last set of Board of Adjustment minutes, wrote a couple of ordinances. So
Yay, Patty.
Yeah.
He's the next clerk of the year. You wait and see.
All right. Arlie, anything from tax collector?
In September, on your report, you can see that we've collected $405,814.19, which brings us up to $563.71. We're still a little bit behind last year, but again, we got the bills out at least 2 weeks later this year than last year. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Okay, to zoning, Michael.
Staying busy. I reviewed the revised site plans for the Mills River Fire Department this week, and they're compliant with town codes. We're in progress of conducting a stormwater or watershed review, but hoping to get them their final approvals in the next couple of weeks so they can begin site work before the end of the year. I had a pre-application call with engineers from Mills River Crossing about potential phase 5 and 6 on a separate parcel. No formal application or anything submitted, just concept sketch plans. I'm sure you've all seen Party has begun site work at their property. And I also drove out to the sun-capped Ferncliff property behind Sierra Nevada, and they've grubbed the entire lot, and grading should begin starting there as well. A minor subdivision of 8 lots on Banner Farm Road has also begun site work and grading, and there should be a subdivision bond at an upcoming council meeting to bond roadway and other infrastructure improvements. And then Daniel and I presented rough draft text of the conditional zoning text amendment to the planning board for general feedback at their October 5th meeting. And we plan to go back to them with final text at their November meeting and then bring that back to council. That's all I have.
That's a lot. Council comments? Roger, anything? Randy? Brian or Brian? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Still trying to set a record here.
Just a couple of quick updates. One, we have hired a part-time code enforcement officer, Toby Linville. He's been with the county for a long time, so he'll be a great addition. And we're going to start talking with him next week about coordinating with Mike and code enforcement activities. So that's really exciting. And I just wanted to point out one thing on your financial report. The Powell bill funds arrived earlier this month. They are slightly below what we had budgeted. I based the budget number based on years past data. The state has not issued its budget yet. If they increase funding, then our allotment will increase in January. But at this point, we're slightly below what we had budgeted for. Just wanted to point that out. And that's all I have.
We're still not able to hire another park
No.
maintenance person.
Mm-mm.
Are we going to repost that?
We
or
will.
just keep
Yeah,
it?
we're going to repost it in January probably, so we can get somebody on board before the season gets busy.
Daniel, is it a pay thing?
Yes.
It is.
Mhm.
That's why you're unable to hire someone.
Yes, there's been job fairs, as you probably have heard it, like at the Ag Center for $18 an hour, and I think we are offering 16, if I'm not mistaken, for the part-time, for the parks maintenance position.
I'm not sure that I was under the impression that it started for
No, for the full-time position.
full time.
It's not $18 an
It's
hour. I know
it's below
that. Yeah.
whatever right there. That's good.
Yes, we did receive a handful of applications the first time I posted it. Only one of it had any qualifications. But there were some other disqualifying factors associated with that individual, so it did not.
Because
work out.
we run background checks on every.
We do.
employee, So
Mhm.
people got,
After we make the offer, we run background checks.
so people have to be, prospective employees have to have clear background. Okay. All right, then Brian or Brian, comments? Okay.
Just where's the subdivision going on Banner Farm Road for the public?
I don't have the exact address, but if you remember the Moore and Sons special use permit that came in, it's literally across the street from that. Yeah.
Where?
200 block Banner Farm
So
Road,
past Roper Farm,
correct.
but just on the very edge of town limits. Okay, that acreage that was for sale forever. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right, motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?